Well, welcome back to the podcast. How you doing, Ryan Parker? Good to see you again this week. Hey, on today's episode, we are going to talk about life and just dealing with some of the major moments of tragedy.
Just these guys, you know, with Pastor Mike.
We got Dr. Parker and we got Mr. Ryan Parker in the house again. You need one of those right there. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Well, so as I was rolling in here this morning, I found myself, I guess, admitting, recognizing that when major events, tragedies, disasters, and all that take place, like what has just happened down in the hill country of Texas, when these things take place.
Kerrville.
Yep.
Hunt.
Yep. You ever been around that area?
Yeah.
I've never.
West of San Antonio.
Yeah, I've never been there. They keep talking about how just amazing it is, which is why there were so many people there over the 4th. But I find myself, I did this with 911. I do this when there's major hurricanes that come through. I become consumed with it. And so I have found myself really consumed with this latest tragedy. And sometimes I wonder why it is that I allow myself to do that. But I think it's a processing thing for me. And so Dawn is always telling me that I need to get away from it. I'll sit there and I'll watch way too much TV on it, or I'll watch too many videos, or I'll just sit there but I almost feel like it's something that I need to do because I usually come out on the other end better for it.
Sure.
And at the same time, boy, I could find myself really slipping into a bad place. But I think about the number of people out there who, man, without a foundation of belief, which belief is trust, without that trust in a foundation of God, man, I have no idea what I would do. I just don't know how I would handle it. And what concerns me a lot of the time is that for a lot of people who do, have a belief, they have that faith, that it can oftentimes cause them to lose that. And so,
how do you maintain your faith through something like that?
Man, I almost force myself to continue to, number one, know that I just don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. We're not going to until we get to the other side. But I have a trust in just believing that there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture. And what God is doing with this, all of the why, I don't find myself asking why a lot, which that's the really natural thing to do, though. Why would God allow this? But I don't necessarily find myself losing trust in Him. I'm just really, I'm grieving and I'm hurting for the people. That, the reality is these little girls are, and these boys, these family members, as they put their trust in Christ, they are rejoicing right now where they are. But that doesn't do anything for the families as far as
the ones who are still here.
Yeah, as far as the pain that they're experiencing.
Now, earlier you said that you get lost in it, you get consumed by it. But before we got on the air, you said that you will come out the other side better.
Yeah.
And what are you accomplishing? What do you come out the other side with?
Well, I just think it's a continued reinforcement of just trusting in God and saying, as I think about this, and I'm also processing the potential conversations that are going to be had. It goes back to me for one of the foundational scriptures that I live my life on, and which is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It says to trust in God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways, acknowledge Him. So through every situation, acknowledge Him, the good and the bad. And He will make the path straight. And so I just put my trust in that. I put my trust in Him ultimately. And that's really easy to say when it's not directly impacting you. But when it does impact you, are you able to put, action to your faith? Are you actually able to really live it out?
Sure.
It's tough. There's no other way to put it, man. There's a brokenness and a fallenness and a cruelness to this world that.
Well, I was telling you again before we got on the air that as we were talking about that, I was thinking this morning about how throughout my life, one of the things I've learned through trial and error is, and I'm going to go negative as I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
but you understand. These words resonate in my head these days, but don't go negative. And when, I have gone negative, but over time I've worked on stopping at zero. If experience is a number line and you have positive integers, you have negative integers, you have positive experiences, you have negative experiences, and there's a zero right in the middle. And when things are not going well, when things are tough, difficult, I endeavor to stop at zero and not go into the negative. And I, obviously as a psychologist, I see people who live in the negative, that they see everything negative and they waller there and they talk about it and they think about it. And that was my concern when you said you watch this stuff and read this stuff and you get consumed by it. My concern was you're going into the negative and living down there without any kind of purpose other than to kind of like a soap opera, just kind of be pulled into what's happening today, what's happening now. I've learned to stop at zero, and at zero, just stand still and pause and wait. Kind of like the advice the college coach gave me about being in the outfield is when they hit the ball to you, run in place 3 steps. Don't run towards the ball because you need to track it first. Stand still, track the ball, then go to where the ball is. And so when bad things are happening, I try to stand still. I don't go past zero. I stand still, take a breath, and begin to kind of unpack the situation. And it sounds like you have reason to go into it because it's human lives that are impacted. And you as a pastor, your responsibility is the flock.
Mm-hmm.
You have to shepherd them. And so to shepherd them, you have to be out there in the storm with them. Has this impacted anybody in your circle?
I don't know anybody. No, I have not received any calls from anyone who had a direct connection with someone. I'm surprised by that. But we've had many, experiences where tornadoes around here or,
Sure.
obviously, death and loss. So it's kind of a constant in my world. But, something like this, it's such an incredible magnitude of loss that I think I don't know. A lot of times I find myself just kind of sitting in it. And like you say, though, not really trying to overthink it, but at the same time, just I want to be able to help. And I think that the only way that you can really truly be of any benefit at all. Of course, I'm praying, a lot of time praying, but I think that the natural reaction for a lot of people is to try to avoid it, and I'm even processing things like, okay, so how do we help? How do we as the church help? And a lot of times that comes down the road. Initially, our help is to pray. And, a lot of people think, wow, that really does a lot of good. That might do the most good.
Yeah.
That's providing a strength and a power for people that they oftentimes don't even realize they're receiving, but they are.
And I've read books, but you're directing angels to them to do things. I mean, we control much more about the world and the spiritual world than we realize. And by speaking and commanding and directing, we initiate things that on earth that otherwise wouldn't occur.
Yep.
And I like how there's a 4-step process I have for dealing with difficult things, and we've talked about it on the air. The first thing is to acknowledge what occurred, and that the facts, the storyline, the events. Too many people can't think about it without becoming emotionally overwhelmed, so that leads them either shut down, quit, or to react in a very emotionally overwhelmed manner. And so step 1 is becoming accustomed to having the thoughts and the memories. And then step 2 is kind of piecing together the story. Now that I can actually think about what's occurring, what was that all about? And you get the storyline down of who did what when. And then the third step is, well, what does this mean about me today? Who am I?
Yeah.
How is this affecting me today? Which leads to the 4th step, which is the one you talked about maybe later down the road, is what do I do now?
Sure.
Now that this has occurred and this is what it means to me, now what do I do? And in this way, there's meaning that comes out of the negative, that this is a tragedy that occurred, and because of this tragedy, I now do this. And so people didn't die for no reason. Their memories can live on. Their purpose can live on. We can get a new purpose because we experience something like this.
Yep. And I say it all the time, so much so that I think it's annoying to a lot of people that there's not a single one of us that is going to survive this world. Approximately 100% of us are going to move on. And it's not our decision when. It's not even really our decision how. And so that's the significance and the importance of having the bigger picture, of knowing that you're going somewhere, and to know where you're going, and then to live each day, kind of like Tim McGraw said, live like you're dying.
Make the most of each day, and make sure you are physically and mentally in the best position to make the most of each day. You said we have no choice about it. 100% of us are going to die, so you might as well accept it. And some people will say, okay, well, fine, I want to go drink.
Yeah.
But that's not
I'm going out with a bang.
That's not what you have 8 hours today. That's guaranteed. Not guaranteed, but that's a good probability that you got 8 hours today to do something with. What are you going to do with it? And if you're out of shape and if you're mentally struggling, then you can't do much with those 8 hours that you've been given.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may be taken out by a bus and
on your way to the gym.
But, there's a positive direction and there's a negative direction. Which way are you going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts about the tragedy in Texas.
Well,
people don't, realize how much something like that, even in a distant land, affects other people, affects you, you as the pastor of the church, and your radar is constantly up to help people with these things. You see, you notice. People may not think you do, but I know you do.
Well, yeah.
And on that uncomfortable talking about Mike moment, let us segue to Ryan, who has an entire prepared speech over there. What do you got for us, Ryan?
Okay. These I went in there and being housed in July 20 years ago, and his pep. I went in there. Years along, and I got fine job and being housed. My car is being housed with boys and family crazy limit.
Yes.
And then and then and then the and then Britain's going to Heroes Academy camp, and on days is coming up, and Tuesday I can exercise and bowling and substitution and substituting and summer I went here. I went here summer, and it's swim is Hyde Park in the pathway.
You'll be swimming at Hyde Park this summer.
Yeah, his different place in the house, and he called is Heroes Academy. Live in Peninsula Living and
Heroes Academy Independent Living.
and passing them. I got a fine job in living, help Lance and Tish help them.
That's great. You're going to find a job and help Lance and Tish.
Yeah.
You are the man.
And this one is I went to the coffee shop. I went here Sunday morning. FDR. This is a pathway.
Is that the pathway?
Yes.
That's it, huh?
That's the plan.
This is I went to work in the morning. I got heels shirt on and hats and weeks and let's see. On Sunday morning I got wake up, coffee shop, and cookies kippers morning FDR with my Kyle and Brenton.
That's a great Sunday morning.
And help the I got passing. I got wrestler. I did my own, and this is okay. This is when he said, "A make video call is podcast with my last dad and Mac too."
Hey, you're in there.
All right.
And thank you, Daddy. You are best father ever.
Thank you, son.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a great segue back to the end of the
Beautiful.
show where we wrap her up
I
now.
love it. Thanks, Ryan.
So,
That is cool. Well, can I say a prayer right now?
yes, sir.
That's how I want to wrap this up. Father in heaven, we come to you. And God, we lift up everyone directly impacted by this tragedy in Texas. God, we lift up the victims, and I pray that they are in your hands. I lift up the family members, and I pray that, as your word says, that God, you are with the brokenhearted, that they feel your presence, that they feel a peace that is beyond our own understanding. God, I lift up the first responders. I lift up everyone who is there trying to find even yet those who haven't been found in the waters yet. Just the whole situation, Lord. I lift this up and I pray for your presence, an overwhelming amount of your presence with them. And for all of us, God, may this build within us a understanding and a desire to know you, to trust in you, and to know that you are leading us to a bigger picture and ultimate end. And so, God, today, we thank you for this day. And we trust in you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.